Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. In this video, I will briefly explain about the concept of exception handling in Java. So, it is important for you to know first what is exception, why is it important, and how we can handle exception in our program. Right? So, here is the motivation. Sometimes when we run our program, there is a situation where the program suddenly terminates. So, is there any ways we can handle the error so that the program will continue to run or perhaps terminate gracefully? Yes, there is. So, this is what we call as exception handling, and we'll go through some sample codes to demonstrate the concepts. Right. So, what is actually an exception? Exception is actually refers to an error. So, exception handling helps us to deal with exceptional situations and allow the program to continue its normal execution. Right? So, a runtime error occurs while a program is running if the Java virtual machine detects that an operation is impossible to carry out. So, we call these errors as exception, as I said. And in Java, exception is actually represented by an object. Okay, so it is an object that contains information about the error that is occur. So let's go through some codes here to demonstrate the concept of exception handling. Right. Let's have a look at the first one called question. Okay. So this is a class called question, and it has the main method, and it uses a scanner object. So the program asks the user to enter two integers, and then based on these inputs, the program will display the results of the operation, which is a division, number 1 divided by number 2. So if we look at this program, we can actually run this program as it should be. Okay. However, imagine that if let's say we enter 0 as an input to number 2. So what will happen in this particular operations? Obviously, we cannot divide an integer by 0. Okay, division by 0 will definitely incur an error. So if you make such a kind of program like this, what will happen is that error will occur, and it is not being handled as it's supposed to be. So let us just demonstrate the kind of error that will appear. Oh, it's already here, sorry. Okay, so let me just run this one. Okay, so enter two integers. Let's say the first integer 10 and second integer 5. So, well, it works fine. So what if let's say you run again, and this time you enter 10 and you enter 0 as the second integer. So you see, you get this error, arithmetic exception, division by 0. So your program suddenly terminates. So how can we avoid this? Well, there are a number of ways to handle this. First of all is that we can actually fix the errors or the situation, avoid the problem by having an if statement. So let's have a look. Question with if, this one. So let's create first this class. Okay, so let me just copy it as usual. Copy and paste it. Right, so different here is that you have this if statement, whereas previously you don't have this if statement. Alright, so this is fair enough. So when you run the program, it will only ask for positive number, numbers greater than 0 in this case. Okay, so that should work well, I suppose. Right. And we can also modify the program by using a method, question with method. Okay, so let us copy this one, question with method, and create a new class, question with TINT, question with method. Right, and then just copy paste. Right, so notice here the first code we don't have any mechanism, yeah, to help check if number 2 is not 0. Well, this can be rectified by using this if statement. This is fine. But there is another way for you to handle this, the input by the user. Let's say, for example, in this particular example, you create a method, yeah, called question, and then you pass the numbers. And in this method, where you are checking if the number is actually 0, number 2 is actually 0, then you will let the program to exit. Okay, so let's run it. So let's say we enter 10 as the first input, and then we enter 0. So now the program will terminate gracefully. We say that it is terminate. It has been terminated gracefully because this is the message that can be easily understood by a user. Yeah, as compared to this one where we don't understand the errors. Some users cannot understand it easily. Okay, well, however, that will cause your program to terminate still. So is there any way that you can actually write a method to throw an exception to the caller, so that the caller of the method can catch and handle the error? So we can have a look at this code, question with exception, this one. So let's create this one, yes, and then finish, and then here select all, copy, and remove this one. Right, so save it. And okay, if you look at this code, now there is a proper way for you to handle the error. Okay, so we can actually handle the error in our code by using the try and catch block. So what it means is that we want to try these particular codes in the try block. If there is any error, okay, and in this particular example, we particularly use arithmetic exception class, because we already know that this is the kind of error that would happen for this kind of operation, because it is an arithmetic operation. So when there is an error occur, it will actually display this particular method. Exception and integer cannot be divided by 0. So what happens if you notice the calling to this question? Okay, this is the method question that you pass two numbers, and in case if whenever you call this method and you pass number 2 as 0, then we said that this method will actually throw an exception object. Okay, throw an exception object. So in this case, it is arithmetic exception. So the part that's handled it is that the caller. So this is the caller, because this is from the main method. You call this question method, so you need to handle that in the catch part. So the catch part is actually for you to respond to the error. So this is what will be displayed whenever error occurred. And in this situation, you can still run the program, which means it does not terminate after it display the result. It will goes to this line. Okay, so let's just run it. Let's say you put 2 integers and 2. Okay, that's fine. Alright, what if let's say you run 10 and 0? So you will get this particular message, and the program can still continue executing this statement without quitting from the program. Okay, so this is the basic try to catch templates. You have a try, where in this try is a contains statements that may throw an error, and you might have several codes over here, and then the catch part is that going to process the exception, right? And let's have a look at another example, input mismatch exception demo. Where is that? Here. Okay, in this input mismatch exception demo, so what is happening here is that you have the same thing in the main class, right? The only thing different is that you have a do while loop. Yeah, so this will allow the program to keep on continue, okay, until the user key in the correct numbers. I mean the expected number. So you will, let's say for instance, and ask the user to enter an integer. So if let's say the user did not enter integer, so the kind of error that we are expecting is input mismatch. Yeah, because maybe the user enter character instead of numbers. Instead of integer, the user may enter a string, for instance. So this particular catch statement will be executed because this particular exception occur. Yeah. In this case, you see, you will still allow the user to enter the next input, and the program will continue until they get the correct input. Alright. Okay, so the next part of the video, I'm going to explain to you about the types of exception. So stay tuned. See you.